Let's jump to this next story. This is from The Independent. Trump fundraising site crashes after influx of donors following guilty verdict, guilty New York hush money verdict. Former president had fundraised off legal troubles before. Dan Scavino says that they are receiving the hug of death. Too many people right now are trying to contribute to Donald Trump's campaign. I will say this for the record. I have contributed the maximum allowed to his campaign. The moment this happened, I have not donated. As far as I know, I don't believe I've ever donated to Donald Trump before this, but this is absolutely too much. But we do have other news. This story shows they're raking in tons of dough. Check this out. Sean McGuire says, I just donated $300,000 to Trump. He says, back in 2016, I had drunk the media Kool-Aid and was scared out of my mind about Trump. As such, I donated to Hillary Clinton's campaign and voted for her. By 2020, I was disillusioned and didn't vote. I didn't like either option. Now, in 2024, I believe this is one of the most important elections of my lifetime, and I'm supporting Trump. I know that I'll lose friends for this. Some will refuse to do business with me. The media will probably demonize me, as they have so many others before me. But despite this, I still believe it's the right thing to do. I refuse to live in a society where people are afraid to speak. Now, he wrote 10,000 words. My radicalization towards the center, global instability, talking about the failed foreign policy, Israel, double standards. Take a look at this. Classified documents. Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Mike Pence, and Donald Trump were all caught with classified documents. Only Trump was indicted. Either it's a crime for all or none. All of the arguments about quantity of documents or obstruction are distractions to justify a double standard. The border wall. Remember how Trump was villainized for promoting a border wall? Biden resumed building sections of it after pausing them, which legacy media has been very quiet about. Election denialism. Yes, Trump denied the 2020 election, but as we linked to above, so did Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden regarding 2016. Corruption charges. Every inch has been searched for Trump corruption, while Joe Biden's involvement with foreign countries through Hunter have been swept under the rug. 3 strikes for thee, but not for me. Joe Biden was the architect of the 1994 crime bill, crack cocaine in particular, the 1986 Anti-Drug Abuse Act, etc. Lawfare. He says the election interference case, the classified documents case, the Georgia interference case, the hush money case, bank fraud, sexual assault. All of these cases are too complicated for most to follow, almost by design. As someone that has been following the cases closely, I've had the opposite reaction of what was intended. Every single case seems to have had impropriety. And B, after going through Trump's entire life, if these are the worst things they can find, he did less wrong than I otherwise would have assumed. He goes on to mention that he disagrees on domestic policy and many other things. Now, the curious thing is where exactly he's going to be putting his $300,000. The assumption is into a super PAC. You can't actually give the president that much money. We have this tweet from Lee Zeldin, who posted, just secured an $800,000 donation from someone for President Trump's joint fundraising committee. Never experienced a massive ask that easy. And of course, I have this Dan Scavino saying win red is down due to overwhelming support. I don't know if this plan will work, but I will say many people, the majority when I asked my Twitter audience, said he wouldn't be convicted. Those fairly close to 50-50, and then he was. When the Democrats see that their plan is not working, I believe it is likely they push for prison time. Even if it is a year, they'll say it's a first offense, but we think minimum security 1 year is warranted in this regard. They're going to keep pushing because they have no other choice.
And then they'll freak out over the optics of Trump pardoning himself when he wins the election. I mean,
we can't pardon himself on a state charge.
That's what I mean. Like, they're going to be like, he's a sitting, if he were to win the election, to be like, he's in prison. Now he's going to try and take over New York and do all these crazy things and appoint this AG. Like, it's going to be hysteria from the left for so long. And I think what's interesting is, like, again, I'm going to go back to this Marist poll that I was referencing before. They found that for 64% of voters, a conviction didn't matter. It wouldn't change the way they're voting. And it was even higher. It was over 70% among independents, right? So it's interesting that there's sort of the political class this is really changing how they think they're going to lay out their roadmap for the rest of the year. But for voters, they were already split. You were kind of talking about this, like there might be some people who are saying enough is enough. I really need to back Donald Trump now. But for the most part, people feel as though their minds are made up. And so it really feels to me like a lot of this is just to try and slow Trump down.